Hi, my name is Teo Shae Nern. I am from Sunway and I'm gonna share about my student portal as my final project. Okay, so excuse me for talking very fast, but I have to get through this super quickly and 5 minutes is not enough. Okay, so we have two options. We have student and faculty member. Students, they start with 0, their username, and then their password will be password 1 or password 2, something like that, right? So as a student, you can check your profile, your timetable, your attendance, and your assignments. So for your attendance, for your timetable, it just shows your entire week and your class and whatever. For attendance, it shows your previous 10 records, and then for here you can check your percentage. So let's say I have 2 out of 2 class. I was present for 2 out of 2 classes. I have 100% attendance for that subject. And then here, current class, it shows like what class you have now. Currently now is 1 AM, so it doesn't show, but let's say it was 8 AM, it would show, and then it would have a take attendance button next to it, which would check if it's 15 minutes. So like let's say if I click the button at 8:16, it won't allow me, right? It will say error. And then here I can check my final assignments and my projects. Okay, next we have for the faculty members. So they start with an F and their password is faculty123 and so on. Okay, so as a faculty member, you can check your details, and for here you can check each student's timetable. So let's say here I want to check 0002's timetable, and then it will show. And then I can add subjects. So let's say I want to add CSC, it will update, and then it will add the CSC class. But let's say I want to remove it, remove here CSC, delete subject, and then it will update again. Okay. Next will be attendance. So let's say a student came late and she or she has a valid excuse. I can update their attendance record and submit it, and then you'll say attendance submitted, and then you'll update the text file. Alright. Next we have the assignments. So basically I can just change the status here and there, and yeah, whatever. So these attendance and assignments, they are based on the students in your class. So you can only check for your students in your class. Alright. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the code. And yeah, so this is my presentation. Now, obviously the goal is to achieve a student portal for a university that is well designed and easy to use, and also we want to implement the subjects, the lessons we learned throughout the semester, and the techniques that we got from the lab work, right? Now, for the program techniques, we have if-else, so it allows for fewer bugs and errors so that we can check. So for example, if a variable is empty, we don't want to call it, so we can check if it's empty or not, and prevent the code from crashing, right? And we also use it for logging in to check whether the password and the username is correct. And yeah, for attendance also, whether like the time is past the due date, or like past the due time, or past like maybe he or she has already taken their attendance, right? So we don't do it twice. That's when we use if-else. We also use for loops to read data from text files and to create dictionaries. We also use it to display information on the GUI so that we avoid repetitive lines, so we don't have to keep typing it out and make the code cleaner, right? It also allows flexibility. So let's say I want to use this, or I want to print this label in the GUI, sometimes 10, sometimes 5. So that's when we can use for loops. And then we also use functions to organize the code, to make it cleaner and to prevent repetitive lines as well. So you can also call it anytime you want. So let's say we used it for reading the text files. So whenever we want to read the text files, we just call it, instead of just having to type out the whole code again. Yeah. We also used it for calling windows in the main program, like the lecturer and the student. Next we have lists. We used it to store the data from the files after reading it. And then after that, it's quite convenient also to pass this data here and there with lists, right? And also it's easy to display it using for loops when needed, right? Next we also use try and accept. We used it during the logging in section. We used it to prevent crashes, unwanted crashes, and show when errors occur. And we also can check, like maybe this is it's easier to debug because we can check, oh, what's the reason for the code not working, right? So here. And then we also use text files to store the data, to organize, and easy access, easy to write into also, to update the data. And then GUI to make the code user friendly and to attract more people to use it. And it's not convenient for us to code, but for the user it looks cleaner and more convenient. Yeah. For my first troubleshooting is learning Python from Java. It's quite hard because I learned Java quite extensively, and it was my first time shifting languages. And because Java has a lot of specific things you need to write down to call something, Python doesn't. Python is very easy and they do it all for you, so it's quite hard for me also. Okay, next we have learning GUI from scratch. I had never learned GUI before. I was quite scared of it because like I don't know how to design and all that. But we decided that our team wanted to try something new and extra. So we took it up and learned it. Although we wasted a lot of time, I think it was a good experience, right? I did a lot of extensive research, effort to read up, and I'm not gonna lie, I used a lot of ChatGPT to try to just ask questions, because sometimes websites don't have all the answers, but ChatGPT helped a bit. Although you can't really copy and paste because all codes are different, I still quite learned a lot from it. Yeah. And also next would be working on projects with teammates. I think it's quite hard to work together, and you have to keep passing the code back and forth and trying to understand each other's code, and you have to create functions based on each other. So that was quite a hard part for me, but making sure that every team member is involved also was quite hard because everybody has their own thing to do, and also ensuring that everybody understands the code, right? So in conclusion, I think I gained a lot of exposure working in teams. Although I don't really like it, I still appreciate it. And I learned GUI after always being scared, and I gained more information and more exposure on like what future projects would be like, what working out there would be like in a team, and yeah, and also dealing with text files. I've never dealt with text files before, and understanding how real life implementation of code works. Yeah, and to top it all off, I made new friends as well. Yeah, so that's it for me. Thank you, and I'll see you.